Italy has voted. The elections resulted in a hung parliament, and markets are concerned that a stable government cannot be formed. With us to speak about the situation in the Eurozone's third largest economy is our Chief Investment Officer, Stefan Keitel. Stefan, Italy's elections failed to produce a stable majority. How and when can investors regain confidence in the country?
A negative surprise indeed, in particular the result for Bersani and Monti. Now it's extremely crucial to form a stable government rather sooner than later and to stick to the path which is already in place since some months. Because we should not forget there is a challenging balance act in particular the peripheral countries have to fulfill, and also Italy has it in front of its eyes. It's on the one hand putting the right austerity measures in place, but on the other hand also to find and to implement the right structural long-term oriented reforms. And on top also not forgetting the stimulation of the necessary growth. So sticking to the path and forming the government rather sooner than later, that's the name of the game.
And how is this outcome impacting the Eurozone in general?
Of course, now again question marks emerged. There's now again that discussion how stable that whole situation in the Eurozone is, and what we can also easily see is a kind of spillover effect into other peripheral bond and equity markets, but that's the typical pattern. But what we should not forget is when we look at the process generally spoken in the Eurozone, we think there had been much development to the positive side, and they definitely made steps in the right direction over the last 6-12 months, and they will stick to that path. So there's a much better communication in place, there's a pretty good sparring between the central bank, the ECB, and the governments in place, though we are strong believers that they will stick to that path, and that these question marks now emerging out of that Italian discussion should be rather short-lived. Though the overall Eurozone story is intact, and we are strong believer that over the next 1 to 3 years the crisis is manageable.
So amid the remaining risks, which asset classes look the most promising for investors now?
Here we stick to our view, clearly equities. And we are not so much surprised that we are now diving into a process or into a period of upcoming volatility. And this was exactly the reason why we stepped back to neutral in our asset allocation weight for equities over the last weeks, because we all the time phrased it in a way, oh, we have some event risks in front of our eyes. And having said that, we of course had been focused on the election in Cyprus, the election in Italy, also some geopolitical tensions, and the discussion we have on the US ground with regard to fiscal cliff and debt ceiling. But what we should not forget is the overall macroeconomic situation is minimum okayish and further gradually improving. We also have spot-on central banks in place delivering the necessary liquidity support. We have much liquidity still on the sideline, and we have a visible lack of investment alternatives from the view of an investor. And this all together delivers a quite healthy cocktail for risky assets and in particular for equity. So we stick to our view that the current consolidation correction should be short-lived and open the door for a renewed buying opportunity for the medium-term minimum.
But have certain asset classes already heated up too much?
There was and is a discussion if, for example, dividend stocks, the more defensive segments in the equity space, maybe are somewhat overheated, overvalued. And for example, also the high yield segment is a bit in discussion because there was an enormous performance in 2012 and many capital flows already have been shifted towards these segments. But this has to do also with fundamentals because in the light of a dramatic search for yield, many rather conservative investors are looking in particular for these kind of segments to enhance their expected return. And don't forget, I think many investors, they have not the willingness, maybe sometimes also not the ability to invest broad-based into equities, and so they go the rather more conservative way to approach rather the dividend-yielding segments. And the same underlyings are the driving forces for that high-yield trend. And given the fact that we don't expect any major changes in thinking of investors there, these two trends should be ongoing. But we clearly expect not these returns we experienced in 2012, itself, much lower returns there, but no trend reversals. As well, high-yield bonds as dividend-yielding stocks are still a very nice component for the overall portfolio.
In an environment where uncertainty seems here to stay, can gold retain its position as a safe haven?
Gold, from our point of view, is not a safe haven, but it's a very necessary part of the overall portfolio. And I think that kind of part is definitely not in question. We should also not forget that in phases of uncertainty, of course, investors are looking for gold. We should also not forget that there are no opportunity costs given that very low level of interest rates and yields. We are still in a kind of negative real yields scenario. We still have much mistrust in the world-leading currencies, so the fundamental drivers for gold are still intact. But there's a kind of lack of physical demand, and we are pretty close to very important support levels. And also many investors have a strong look at that. So gold currently is a bit more vulnerable. We would also not be too much surprised if maybe there will be an additional setback. But for us, given the fundamental arguments, it's rather a renewed buying opportunity.
Thanks, Stefan. For the latest news on market movements and global trends, check out News and Expertise on the Credit Suisse website.